So it's like less than that they should be on anyway, long term.
Yeah.
So you've got that concern. You've got the concern, obviously, with the GI side effects. I mean, GLP-1 is naturally produced in the body in the ileum, which is sort of the last third of the small intestine. There's something called the ileal brake. And so what is the ileal brake? Well, it basically, as we digest food and it kind of winds its way through our intestine, it ends up in the end of our gut in the ileum. These little L cells are sort of stimulated to produce GLP-1. It tells the gut to slow things down. It's like, hey, there's too much nutrients coming in, so we got to slow things down, right? So we can actually absorb the food, right? This is what happens. And there's foods that naturally stimulate. Protein stimulates it. Monounsaturated fat stimulates it. Beef isolate actually, quite interestingly, will stimulate it quite well. There's studies that show that. There is so obviously the way they do it, they give you a big dose, once a week dose, which is like a gazillion times more than a physiologic dose. Normally, the L cells produce some GLP-1, it hangs around for a few minutes and it's gone, right? That's how it's supposed to occur. So you got this big giant dose. That's why some people have gastroparesis or they have bowel obstruction. So you're going to have a certain percentage of people where it's going to happen to them. Maybe it's going to be long-term, maybe it's going to be a short-term thing. So you're going to have some of those people that have issues. A lot of people have nausea and things like that, or vomiting, or because food sits in their gut, it literally sits there and rots in their stomach for some people, and they have these horrible belching. It's just like, oh my God, it's like the stuff that's not supposed to sit there is sitting there. So that's part of the concern. The other concern is in some cases fat cell hyperplasia. As you know, there's hyperplasia and hypertrophy that goes. So we know that there are some early studies that show that GLP-1s can lead to fat cell hyperplasia. So you have hyperplastic, you have actually more fat cells. Now they're small and insulin sensitive, so they're actually healthy. But what happens when you come off the drug and you got more fat cells than you started with? So there's some concern that you might end up with, if you don't tolerate the drug, you can't afford the drug or whatever. Now you've got more fat cells than you started with. So now, what happens 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road? We don't know yet. We're going to see what happens.
So, but they want you on it for life. That's the thing.
No, right? Of course. That's the solution, is keep you on this drug for the rest of your life. And do we have any long-term data? We've got some 10, 15-year data on type 2 diabetics. But I mean, the average person what's going to lose 20 pounds, that may be a real problem for them, down the road, or what the long-term thing is. I think that, obviously I'm kind of an somewhat anti-drug in my approach to this thing. I think there's better things you can do long-term. I think this is something that, for the people that do this that are significantly obese, there may be some benefit. It's just like it's like the argument with bariatric surgery. What is it when bariatric surgery, and Alan, you remember when it first came, it was reserved for these super morbid obese people that BMIs of 50s, and complication rates were high, and then they started creeping it down. Let's do it in BMI of 30 and 35. If they've got if they're 30, if they have a BMI of 30 and if they're pre-diabetic, now we can kind of get it through the thing and we can start doing this stuff. And so you expanded the indication so tremendously so that so many people are exposed to it, probably most of them unnecessarily. And, you see these sort of complications that occur. So I don't think it's going to be the magic, in a way. Here it is, because it's obviously, $1,200 an infusion here in the US, but whereas in Europe, it's $100. It's a price gouging.
If you enjoyed this video, you can see the entire podcast at rumble.com/evening rants. That's rumble.com/evening rants. See you there. I'm looking for something to prime my body to reach my goals. You want to lose weight, but a lot of people just chase their tail trying to lose weight. Let me explain. You get the latest fad, you do the latest diet, you get on the latest pill. But think about it like a car. You can put the finest fuel in the car, but if the car is broken, what are you doing with yourself? You're just going to give your body this fuel, but the body itself is broken. Your body needs to operate efficiently. Your body needs your lungs, your kidney, your liver, your heart. They all need to be working optimally for your body to process the nutrients, to burn the fat, to even build the muscle. I'm looking for the best overall health and organ supplement ever created. And that's why at Ambrosia, we have something called Ambrosia Nectar. Since 2015, we've been focusing on things that other companies don't focus on. We needed people to operate efficiently with their brain. So we had mental jewels. We needed people to have proper fuel, Ambrosia Planta. But the product that I'm most proud of is Ambrosia Nectar. Ambrosia Nectar contains 13 natural, proven ingredients to help with all the things that make your body run. Ambrosia Nectar is what you need, and it is the perfect supplement to prime your body for whatever your goal might be.